second part of the lecture series on the business model development. In the first part, we discussed what is the business model canvas. We defined the business model canvas. Then we discussed the advantages of the business model canvas. At the same time, we discussed whether the business model canvas could be changed with the passage of time or not. So that were the three different parts that we discussed in the first part. Now in this second part, we are going to discuss how to fill the different blocks of the business model canvas. In the business model canvas, there are 9 building blocks. 1. The customer segments. 2. The value proposition. 3. Channels. 4. Customer relationships. 5. Revenue streams. 6. Key activities. 7. Key resources. 8. The key partners. And the 9th block is the cost structure of the organization. So these are the 9 building blocks of the business model canvas. So we are going to discuss one by one in the coming slides. As we discussed in the value proposition canvas, it's always important that you start with the customer side of the business. Understanding the customer side of the business is so much important because if you do not understand the customers properly, it will be hard for you to design the value proposition or answer the question why they should buy your product. At the same time, it will be hard for you guys to tailor your product according to the needs and the wants of the target customers. So let's start with the customer segments first. Customer segment represents the different groups or the organizations an enterprise aims to reach and serve. For example, if you are going to serve a particular market, what problem are you going to solve? Who faces that problem? Are they parents? Are they kids? Are they male? Are they female? Are they young? Are they old? If they are women, if they are men, are they working women? Are they housewives? So who are the target group that you basically want to serve? So you need to understand that. You need to slice the market and become more and more focused over your specific customer type. There are different ways you can segment the market. The first thing that you can do is serve the whole market. There are certain products that is needed by all the people in the market. For example, food. For example, clothes, medicine, transportation, telecommunication, housing. So these are the different examples of the things, the goods, the services that all the people in the market they need. Let's give an example of the health sector. In the health sector, let's start with the example of a Disprin. We all know Disprin is commonly used by the people to take care of the headaches. So that is basically targeted at the overall market. So the young and the old, the sick and the healthy, they all use the Disprin with few exceptions at the same time. Another example, another way that you can slice the market into different parts is the niche market. Niche is more specific kind of a need. For example, in our health sector, the people having the heart disease maybe, or the sugar patients. So that is a very small segment of the market. So you're not producing Disprin for the whole market, rather you are producing a particular drug, particular medicine for one specific need, and that is what we call as the niche market, right? And then the third way that you can segment the market is different segmentation. For example, are you targeting the women or the men, right? If you can further segment the women market, are you talking about the young women or the old women? Are the young girls you're talking about? If you're talking about the young women, are you talking about the women who are working in the offices or who are working as housewives in the housewives in their houses? At the same time, are you talking about the women who are housewives? Are you talking about the housewives in the cities or in the villages? Are you talking about them here in one part of the city or another part of the city? Are you talking about the rich families? Are you talking about the low income families? So what I mean to say is that you can segment or you can slice the market and become more and more focused. Who are your target customers? So that is how you become more focused in your business model by understanding the customer segments in detail. The final way, or another example of the customer segmentation that is evolving now is the diversified multi-sided platforms. Like for example, Careem and Uber. right? So these are the two different types of the customers at the same time that the company serves. On one side of the Careem is trying to satisfy the drivers by telling them, by giving them the value that they will earn more money. At the same time, they are convincing the people to ride the Careem service by telling them or by giving them the value proposition that it is economical, it is safe, and at the same time it is fast. So these are the different ways you can segment the market. Certain questions you need to ask in fulfilling the customer segment block is the you should ask yourself for whom we are creating the value, who are our target customers. At the same time, our most important customers. In other words, the customers who are facing this problem as their problem number one, for which they are ready to give some money at the same time. Right? So these are some questions we should ask while filling the customer segments. To further understand the customer segments or the whole business model, we are going to carry along a particular example. In this case, we are going to take the example of a lemonade stand or a sugarcane stand that we see in the summers. Right? Imagine a sugarcane stand in front of a park. Their stand basically offers cold, tasty sugarcane juice to the people on the go. Right? So people use or people buy these sugarcane juices just to quench their thirst, or maybe they get a little bit energized, right? So in this case, if this guy is a little bit educated and he wants to fill his business model, so that is how he's going to fill his business model. Who are their target customers? So in this case, as you can see, it's a mass market he is serving. He's not targeting specifically women. He's not targeting specifically the guys who go for jogging or exercise to the park. He's not targeting the old people or the kids or anyone passing on the road in front of the park. So he is targeting each and everyone who feels like it's hot and they are feeling thirsty and a little bit down. So they are basically targeted. So in a nutshell, the mass market, he's targeting the mass market, and we define that mass market as the park visitors, anyone who goes to the park or pass by the park, right? So those are the target customers of this stand. Further, what is the value? Now it comes the company part or the business part that we discussed in the value proposition canvas, right? So what value you can offer to the target customers, right? Actually, it is the bundle of the products and the service create the value. So you tell the value why they should buy your product. You do not tell the nature of the product, how great the product is, or what are the features in the product. You just tell them the benefit of this product. Something that you can include in their value proposition is what newness it brings. What are the new features that this product brings? What would be the advantage of using this newness? For example, improved performance could be another thing, right? Improved performance. Now this car will use less petrol, for example. The newness part could be now there is improved battery life in this mobile phone, right? At the same time, price could also be used as the value proposition. Now this is more cheap. This is more now the price is lower as compared to the competitors or the existing solutions. So that is why they should buy the product. At the same time, another value that you can add to your product is the customization. This mainly occurs when you go to the tailor and make tailor-made clothes. At the same time, it occurs in softwares for the organizations. It can also occur in terms of the prices, right? If you are a big organization, you can change the price as per your power, maybe, right? How? Because you are buying in bulk. So if you are buying in bulk, so you can dictate the price as per your wishes, right? So the customization. So not only the product features can be customized, but at the same time, the price could also be customized. And you can use this as the value proposition to sell your services to the target customers, right? Some of the questions that you can ask here is which problems are we solving? This is important. If you do not understand which problems are you solving, then probably it's very hard to convince the guy. Probably you are targeting the problem number 3 and the problem number 4 for which the customers are not ready to buy to pay anything, right? So you need to know which problems are you solving. At the same time, what value are you delivering to the target customers, right? In our lemonade stand, this is how You write the value proposition. The value that this stand offers to the target customers is it's cold, tasty, natural lemonade on the go, right? Here is something you can add. For example, when you feel like most of the people are health conscious, are the gym goers, are the guys who are coming for the exercise, so you can add something for them, and that is energetic, healthy lemonade on the go, cold, tasty, natural, healthy, and energizer on the go, right? And if there are busy people who cannot stand for 5 or 10 minutes, so this is important to understand here. If your target customers, they are just moving fast in their cars or the taxis, or they are just jogging, so then it will have more then it will affect your business model differently in terms of the resources. What type of glasses are you going to keep for your business? Is it going to be the plastic carriers, or it is going to be the glasses, right? So that is important. We'll discuss this in further detail when we go to the resources part, right? But here you should understand that the value proposition is written like this, right? The value proposition that they offer to the park goer is it's cold, it's tasty, and natural at the same time, right? And you can have it on the go quick drink for getting the energy. Now we move to the third part, that is the channels, right? In other words, how you're going to tell your customers on what media are you going to tell? Are you going to call them? Are you going to use the Facebook? Are you going to use the television? Are you going to use the word of mouth? Are you going to use references to reach your target customer? So how are you going to inform your customers that you got solution to their problems? And that is what the channels are all about. Channels could be of two different types, the direct channels and the indirect channels. By the direct channels, we mean you set up your own office, you call them directly. While indirect channels mean you use someone else's premises to sell your products. For example, you can have your own website and your brand name, or you can put your products on Amazon or Daraz.pk or any other e-commerce platforms which supports the small businesses. So if you have your own website and you tell people to go to this website, so probably you are using the direct channels to reach your target customers. At the same time, in direct channels, so you put your products on Amazon or any other e-commerce platform, so you use those platforms as selling points. At the same time, like we have seen so many other examples of like cooking oils and the ketchups and the sugar and all these examples in the grocery market, right? K&Ns could be another example. K&Ns use both the direct and indirect channels. They have their own specialized stores, but they also have put refrigerators in different shops. So they are using both the direct channels and the indirect channels, right? Some of the questions that you can ask in this segment is through which channels we should reach our target customers. We should reach them directly, or we should use someone else's name and make partnership with that guy and reach our target customers. How are we reaching them now, right? So is it proving effective how we are reaching them now, or it is not growing our business? So these are some of the questions, are the sample questions you should ask yourself while filling this part of the business model canvas. In our lemonade example, the guy is using the direct channel. His stand is basically his personal representation. So he reaches the target customers by installing that stand in front of the park. So that is, but he can also do some innovation or some new things. For example, he can have an Instagram page, right? At the same time, the guy can have a Facebook page or maybe his own website at the same time. Probably he can use a loudspeaker to announce that he is here to sell the fresh juices, maybe. So that is how he reaches the target customers. At the same time, he can print some brochures and distribute those brochures in the nearby offices and telling them how fresh and how tasty is this juice, right? So instead of having tea in the offices during summer, they can try the lemonade or the sugarcane juice at the same time, right? So these are the different examples that a person can use to reach their target customers. Now, another important thing to understand in the business model canvas are the customer relationships. In order to understand the customer relationship, you need to know this business practice or this management tip or the management advice. Getting the new customer is always costly and difficult. So what is good for the business is the repeat customers. So you should always retain your target customers so that they come again and again. So that the benefit of that is lower marketing cost, and at the same time steady or certain cash flow for the business, which helps you properly planning for the future, right? So that is why the customer relationship is an important part of the business model canvas. There are different types of relationship that a company can keep with their target customers. One type is the transactional, that you probably have seen when you're going on the motorway or buying something on the airport, or just you go to the shop and buy a thing and then go away. You do not go back, or probably you go once in a while to that shop to buy something. So that is the transactional. So there is no need to kind of build relationship with those people. And some of the relationship are long term. You continuously buy from that guy, right? And then the third type of the relationship that a business can have is the human assistance or the personal assistant. You provide them with a human. For example, you're facing some problem in your mobile network, so you call the customer office and then you talk to a human being, maybe a girl, maybe a boy, right? So they answer your question, they try to help with your problem. So that is the human assistance that the companies can provide. The more dedicated kind of a personal assistant could also be provided if the customer is important. It normally happens when the customer is key. Normally it happens in the real estate when people spend millions of rupees on buying particular property. So for a real estate agent, that is an important client. So he's always available. So they know each other by name. When you call a mobile network company to the customer service, you do not know them. They do not know your name. Probably your name pops up on the screen, but you do not know their name until they don't tell you their names, right? So every time you call, you talk to a different person. But in the real estate case, if the investor is facing some problem, he knows who to call. Is it Rahim or is it Qasim, or who's the guy to talk to? So that is what we mean by dedicated personal assistance. And some of the times there is self-service that the companies can offer. Actually, the self-service and the automated services are kind of the same here. For example, you are installing a new software. So the software itself guides you by asking you to click on the next and install and choose the language and all these. So this is basically the self-service availing a particular service, right? Automated services is a little bit more advanced. For example, you're watching YouTube. So YouTube has opened up the platform. You choose yourself which song, which movie, which video to watch at that time, right? But at the same time, the automated services gives you recommendation at the same time. Netflix does the same thing to you by giving you a recommendation based on your previous watches, right? So what kind of relationship you can keep with your target customers? So the answer is it depends on the worth and the number of customers. If you have large number of customers, like millions of customers, like Facebook have, like Microsoft got millions of, like Skype got millions of customers, like WhatsApp got millions of customers, right? Like Netflix got millions of customers. So they cannot have personal relationship or personal assistant. Yes, they might have, but in a very extremely rare situations. Most of the time, it's a self-help or the bot answers that you get from them, right? So that is how you feel the customer relationship, how important the customers are. So it is basically from the automated services to dedicated personal assistant, right? Some of the questions that you need to ask here are what type of relationships customer expect to establish and maintain with you guys as an entrepreneur, right? So that is important to understand. Now we move to the example. In this case, the lemonade guy has more personal relationship with the guy, right? Why? Because he has a very limited number of customers coming to their stand every evening, maybe, right? Almost 70 to 80% of the repeat customers at the same time. And since they are less in number, so they know each other by name. So if you are more repeat kind of a customer, so probably you know each other by name. And sometimes you ask for favors if you don't have money in the pocket. So you tell them, I can pay later on, and he agrees to your offer because he knows you. So that is kind of more personal and more dedicated personal relationship example, right? So with this, we'll stop here and we'll come back with the other episode of the lecture on the revenue streams of the business. Thank you so much.